Hi, I'm David McIntosh. You're here with Arcade1Up, and I'm here to show you guys the latest and greatest at CES 2020.
So this is your latest cabinet, the NBA Jam cabinet, and this is unique in many ways, but talk a little bit about this cabinet.
Yeah, so we just announced NBA Jam. We actually have the world's largest arcade machine back here that's playable. I don't know if you saw the big beacon to draw people in, but that's all in an attempt to showcase our brand new 3/4 scale arcade machine here, NBA Jam. So this arcade machine features 3 games, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, and NBA Jam Hang Time. What's unique about this arcade is that we actually redeveloped NBA Jam to have online capabilities. As you're playing this game, you have the capabilities to jump in live, and this means that if you have a cabinet in your office, I have one in mine, we can both jump into the same game. It's up to 2 and 2. You can play 3 online versus 1, so the possibilities are limitless in terms of who you can play with. And it really is putting a modern, innovative twist on an old school retro title.
You guys kind of hit the ground running when you released your first round of cabinets, and you became insanely popular basically overnight. Can you talk about some of the improvements you've made to your cabinet overall? I remember for example, the cover on the control scheme is something that you've recently added.
Definitely. So we didn't expect the amount of time and gameplay people would put into these arcade machines, if I'm being honest. So as you mentioned, every one of our arcade machines now includes a deck protector to prevent from scratches, wear and tear, etc. We're also adding a light-up marquee to this unit, so the NBA Jam is glowing. It looks really good in a low-light game room, and as well as a matching licensed riser that's branded to match the NBA Jam machine itself. So it brings it up to the actual same height as rough and tough, within an inch of the original arcade machine's playing height. The machine itself is slightly shorter, but the deck is at the same playing field.
So when does this cabinet come out, and how much will it retail for?
We haven't exactly determined the price point, but it's going to range between $399 to $499. The Wi-Fi enabled feature, in addition to some of the games, it does add a bit more cost to it, as well as the light-up marquee, as well as the riser. However, that doesn't the online itself is going to be free, so we're giving that as a freebie to our consumers. We don't think they should pay for it. It's a nice to have, not a need to have. It's just our way of giving back to the community.
So are your buttons and joysticks, those are still all produced by you? Are those new? Have they been changed at all? Are those the same ones we've seen since the beginning?
Yeah, so we did get our own buttons at first. They weren't the greatest. We wanted to hit an affordable price point, and by doing so, we didn't get the nicest joysticks and buttons. I'll admit that.
$200, right? So I mean, you have to be low.
Exactly. They weren't the highest quality, but as we progressed, we realized that there's some mid-tier accessories and equipment that you can add, not too expensive, and it really enhances the experience. So these are actually upgraded in comparison to our Wave 1. They're not the highest end, but they're somewhere in the middle. So in addition to our NBA Jam machine, here we have our Star Wars 3/4 scale digital pinball machine. We announced a partnership with Zen Studios to make this happen, and honest to God, this is probably one of the coolest things that we've done yet. We've taken $3,000 to $5,000 item, made it very affordable. This is going to be it's going to be between $400 to $600 at retail, and each table comes with 10 different games on it. So we're going to really give the consumer a lot of value at a reasonable price point, adding to the man cave in the game room.
That's insane, because even the full-size digital ones run at least $4,000 or $5,000.
That's right, yeah. So, and you're not really compromising a lot here except for the scale, right? So at 80%, 70 to 80% scale here, you're getting haptic feedback. It feels like a real pinball. We're going to try and get an accelerometer in there as well, so it'll even detect a nudge and tilt and everything like that. So you're not really losing a lot. You're getting a wide variety of games that were developed by Zen Studios, one of the largest library and developers in digital pinball. So you're getting a lot of value here in the 3/4 scale at a very affordable price.
You guys have a release date pending right now, this year, next year?
It will be this year. The time frame has yet to be determined.
Now, I know you guys don't like talking about it, but I have to ask, because people are going to ask on our community, is if I bought this and wanted to, happen to add different pinball games, is that a possibility?
So we're looking into that. So at the moment, I don't have an answer, but they are Wi-Fi enabled, meaning that you'll be able to download firmware updates. You'll be able to somewhere down the road hopefully have a live high score. So there'll be an Arcade1Up global high score. Hopefully down the road. And then we're also going to work on potentially working on downloadable content somewhere in the future. Hopefully. And here we have our Golden Axe, the Revenge of Death Adder arcade machine. This is actually the first time it's been ported since the original arcade launched. So this is a huge piece for our collectors and for all the hardcore enthusiasts out there. This machine will have 5 titles on it. It's a 4-player machine that has, I believe, sorry, I just wanted to check. It has a light-up marquee, it has a matching branded riser, and the 5 games are going to be Golden Axe, Revenge of Death Adder, Altered Beast Shinobi, Wrestle War, and Golden Axe 1, just the original.
And so, like you mentioned before on your NBA Jam cabinet, you've kind of upped the quality across the board on your new wave of cabinets, which is why they've increased about $100 per SKU, correct?
That's right. Yeah, we started at $299. That didn't come with a riser. That didn't come with a marquee, a light-up marquee. That didn't come with a lot of the nicer buttons and joysticks, as well as the deck protectors and the, in this case, a 4-player cabinet. So you're right. Yes, our price point for this is probably going to be around $399. However, it includes all the bells and whistles that we found our community were adding themselves in the aftermarket, anyways. So a lot of people were asking, why can't these come with a light-up marquee? And so we wanted to give the option. It's pre-installed. You don't have to turn it on if you don't want to. There'll be options to, have it disconnected, but it really adds extreme value in it and to the authenticity as well.
I think for the price point when you guys originally released was so reasonable, and that's why people gobbled them up. And then you actually listened to the feedback, because that was one of the major feedbacks. The buttons were, breaking because they were cheap, but again, it was $200 for a 3/4 size arcade cabinet. You can't find it anywhere else. You can't even get an enclosure for that much.
Yeah, sorry, that was a good joke. It's actually kind of hard too, because you want to deliver a quality product at a lower price point. But given the fan feedback, we were advised that they are willing to pay a bit more for a better product. And you're right, there aren't a lot of competitors in this market. We were the first to the market with this 3/4 scale, and that has catapulted us into the success that you now see at this show. All right, over here we have our Frogger arcade machine. This is one of the greats. It's up there with the top, 5 arcades of all time. Frogger was a must for us. I believe here we're demoing Time Pilot. It's going to have 2 other games, Time Pilot 84 and Time Pilot. This is honestly just one of the blockbuster titles we knew we had to secure at some point in time. And here it is. It'll feature a light-up marquee as well, a matching riser for those who are buying them. And I know I didn't mention this when we were talking about Golden Axe, but we had a customer retention rate of like 60% with risers. So everyone was buying them anyways.
Right.
And we just wanted to give them the option to have it. And if they don't want it, they can take it off or whatever the case is. We have some people who build it but prefer to sit, so they don't end up putting the riser together. But we do want to give the collectors an opportunity to get a piece of it, especially in cases when we don't have retail pickup on separate risers for every single SKU. This is a way to guarantee that they at least get to market.
I think one of the best things about the ones without the riser is that it's great for kids. Right. It's the perfect height for kiddos.
That's right. It's a great gateway into gaming.
Right.
You don't have to worry about them going into the deep dark web or meeting creepos. These are usually closed, minus our NBA Jam machine that will have online capabilities, but there won't be any voice chat, there won't be any communications. So they're really closed, and you can just put your kid on them, know that it's a safe environment, you don't have to worry about them.
So this is it only has 1 control panel, so how much is this one going to be at launch, and when does it come out?
That is to be determined, price point. I'm not sure. I don't think it's in the same field as Golden Axe, but I'm not entirely sure on the price. And likely fall of 2020 for this one.
People still don't understand that you're fairly a new company that had to hit the ground running.
That's right, yeah. So at CES, it gives us the opportunity to really show our roadmap and what we're capable of. And this is where we're going to licensors and presenting products. This is where we're going to retailers and presenting the products. So a lot of the stuff you see here is still to be licensor approved, to be determined, or it's still pending information on it. So, it's great to come here and show everything we're capable of and really show our roster and our offerings, but what you see here is just early prototypes. All right, over here we have our limited edition, limited quantity Burger Time. This was a piece actually designed in ways by our community. We announced this as a Karate Champ unit last year, and I'd say about 80% of the feedback was this should be a Burger Time unit. So we still included Karate Champ, however we changed the artwork and the main hero shape and form factor and artwork to Burger Time. So you see on the side you have the the die cut unique form of the chef's hat, right. And we also have the light up marquee on this unit, the matching riser, 4 different games on it. We have Burger Time, Karate Champ, Caveman Ninja, Bad Dudes, and this is an Arcade1Up.com exclusive. Only 3,000 units are being made. There's a letter of authenticity, and they're all numbered as well. So this is truly a piece for our collectors.
So, and again, this is a price point you're still trying to figure out what these should retail around, because they're not as big as the 4-player cabinets, but they do have an interesting design with the cut.
Yeah, so this one is a $399 item. The light up marquee, the riser, the games, the artwork, the cut die, everything really contributes, but it's also just a collector's piece as well. So we put a big bet on this to bring it to market. It's not going to retail. We're holding the inventory. We bought the goods up front. That's why there's only 3,000 being made, and we're really just trying to give back to our community on this piece.
This is your PacMan 40th anniversary? 40 years old, wow.
That's right. I know, it's really made a comeback. Like, only a handful of things can stand the test of time, truly, and PacMan is one of those things. So for PacMan's 40th anniversary, we are relaunching our PacMan arcade machine. It's going to have a light-up marquee. It's going to have 5 different PacMan games on it, 6 different PacMan games, as well as Galaga. So 2 of our biggest titles are on this machine, PacMan and Galaga. In addition to the cabaret style design, it has the cabaret style side panels with the faux wood artwork on the side, and this is a unique form factor. We've never done this before, and we're going to be launching that later this year.
And you have like almost just about every PacMan game ever made. You've been PacMan, PacMan Plus, PacMan, Pac and Pow, which I haven't seen in years, Super PacMan, and Pac-Mania, and Pac-Land.
That's right, yeah, and Galaga. But yeah, we really wanted to offer our community as many variations as we could that we thought offered variations as well, you know what I mean? So like different play styles. For me, Pac-Mania is a ton of fun, but there's nothing like the original Pac-Man. So we try to offer a variety of different levels, as well as more challenging versions of the game to offer that longevity of the unit.
Now, this isn't like a limited edition like the Burger Time one, right? This will be mass produced?
That's right. This is good. I mean, we're actually taking a different strategy this year. Instead of just flooding the market with tons and tons of units, we're gonna limit the quantity to not only gauge the interest, but also to create demand. So there's gonna start to be a lot less units, not just to add the collectability, but also to show our fans that, you know, you can't just sit on these. There won't be as many rollbacks this year, if any at all. So once you see them, get them while you can, because there won't be many of them made.
The good old Nintendo approach. I like it.
Yeah, you know what? Like we've done the whole we've sold out hundreds of thousands of units at major retailers. There's no skipping around the fact, but we found that to get rid of some old inventory, prices are rolling back. And for some reason, that's kind of trained our consumers to wait to buy, and it's kind of a downward spiral from there, because if they wait to buy, the price rolls back, and it's starting to hurt our not only reputation with retailers, but also just our credibility. If we're going out at $3.99, the consumers think that that's almost like a slap to the face if they're seeing it, you know, rolled back at $2.99, etc. So we're trying to control the pricing in the sense that we're not going to create as many units, and we're also going to limit the quantity. So you'll be able to buy them, but you won't be able to sit on them.
I think a lot of people, consumers don't realize is that store space is a big issue as well. Some stores only want to carry, 5 or 6 at a time, and you can't, if you have an over surplus, they're sitting in warehouses not going anywhere, and that's when you have the lower price. So shelf space becomes a major concern for places like Best Buy, GameStop, Walmart, stuff like that.
100%. Yeah, this was supposed to be the year where .com surpassed retailers. Retailers are closing down left, right, and center. There's no surprise there. Especially in the gaming space, you're really fighting tooth and nail to get inventory there. So that's why not only are we launching some titles directly to consumer on our website, like the Burger Time unit, but we're also going to limit the quantity we produce to limit the rollbacks and the overstock of inventory. All right, here we have our Star Wars sit-down arcade cabinet. It's the same Star Wars that we originally launched in terms of game selection. It has a light-up marquee, the same high-quality flight yoke. However, we added a unique feature in the fact that you now have a pull-out bench that adds a cockpit-type feel to it. So you can sit down. It's a faux leather, cushion. We've had a few questions in the community already about what material we're using. It's very comfy, and it just adds that unique style and a unique form factor into your collection.
I have to ask, this is obviously something new and exciting. Does this mean we're going to eventually maybe get to the point where you're making the full enclosures like the, Ridge Racer and the Cruisin' USA ones we used to see in the 90s?
It's funny you say that, but we just had a conversation about limited retail space. So you want to dream big, but it's also hard. Like, you're limited to what your partners are willing to support as well.
And like consumer space too. I mean, houses are small, apartments are small. Like, that's going to take up a lot of space, even at 3/4 size.
That's right. We're already having fans who have 5, 6 arcade machines who are like, I don't have any room. So how do we keep supporting you? Which is actually why we'll talk about it in a minute. We're adding some new form factors and some new sizes as well. But we're going to start with the benches, see how they do, and we may look into some other stuff as well.
Well, I think the interesting thing about your cabinets in general is that they're assembled and disassembled fairly easily. So if you can have a rotation, if you know what I mean. Dismantle one, mantle new one, put it in the closet, because they actually fold up rather nicely.
That's right. Yeah, these the arcade themselves are very versatile. They're lightweight. They're like 60 pounds. It's a small child. It's a little awkward to carry, but you can if you have to by yourself. And the riser, like, what's perfect about the stool here is that you can actually slide it right in. Maybe when a sieve gets off, we can tuck it in and just show the community what it's like when it's not being used. All right, so over here we have our gateway consoles, so to speak, in the sense that these are our lower price point but still deliver on the quality of gameplay that our other arcade machines have. So if you don't have the space for a full 3/4 scale arcade machine, here we have the Coleco style, our handhelds. We have titles with Capcom, DuckTales. We're working with Konami. These are all pending approval and confirmation, and these are all concepts just so the community knows. But we're also introducing a handheld plug-and-play HDMI dongle just over to the right. I mean, look how good that Pac-Man looks. I want that just for the appearance, but we have other titles. We're working with Capcom on Mega Man, Disney with Mickey Mania, as well as DuckTales over there. So these are going to be, they'll have probably 5 to 10 games on them. They're going to be HDMI wireless dongles. You can plug into your TV. They connect right away. And it's just another way to enjoy our arcade gaming experience. Down here, we introduced a brand new product line called micro consoles. These micro consoles are replications of the TV. They're replicating the fact that, you have the old school TV from the 70s, the 80s, the micro versions of the consoles loaded with 20 different games on them, and they're fully functioning. We have the Atari, the the Intellivision, Commodore 64, all the iconic consoles and televisions from their era. These are going to be fully functioning around $30 price points.
Now these are all, to be clear to people, these are all prototypes because they look 3D printed, which is awesome. Yeah. But these must be much smoother and more sleek when they release.
100%. Yeah, these are all like early prototypes. That's really our objective here at CES. But they do work, actually. I was playing with them earlier, but you're right. These are subject to change, and these are just the perfect gift for Father's Day, for stocking stuffers. For $30, you get a great arcade experience, and I'm gonna have like probably 4 or 5 on my desktop at work.
Right, it looks great on your desk or your man cave.
100%.
Now, I have to ask, Tiger Electronics? Do you remember Tiger?
I'm gonna be honest, that's a bit before my time, but that doesn't mean we're not looking into it. Here we have our giant joysticks. I'm sure if you've been to Dave & Buster's in the last couple months, you've probably seen the world's largest Pac-Man. There's a giant TV on the wall. We're trying to take the commercial experience of retro gaming and apply it into a residential consumer application. So here we'll have a giant joystick in the shape of Pac-Man. It'll have probably 10 to 20 Bandai games, including but not limited to Pac-Man and Galaga, Dig Dug, etc. And to our left over here, we have the Atari version. That's going to have about 10 to 20 different Atari versions. Same concept. They're HDMI dongles. They're perfect conversation pieces, and it's a really fun way to spice up game night. When you have the family over, you're playing with your buddies. It's a little different than playing like Monopoly or Risk or something like that. Nothing against them. Those are both fun games, but this is really a nice conversation piece to add to your collection.
When are these out and how much are they?
They're going to be $100, and we're going to have them out before holiday.
$100?
$100.
That's so reasonable.
Thank you. Yeah, we're
I will take 2 of the Pac-Man.
It's funny because when we launched, it was a learning experience for us. In ways, yes, we cheaped out on the buttons for the arcade machines, but we did deliver on a nice PCB. The games they're reported really, really well. The quality of the build was strong. So we did go a bit high in certain cases for price points. For example, our countercades, we started at $200. We're bringing them down to $100 in our next wave. Our partycades were originally priced at $299 or $279, and we're bringing those down to $199. So we're really getting feedback from our consumers in terms of pricing and availability and cost and stuff, and we're applying it to our subsequent products.